Welcome, everybody. It's time to drum in another show, Soul Purpose Healing. Thank you for joining me. We got some special guests, and we're going to be drumming in and enjoying the wisdom and knowledge of two beautiful sisters who are going to help us understand and understand and overstand the beauty of Mother Earth and how they are healing through pharmacy with an F. So thank you for joining me. Get your drums, get your drumsticks. We're going to bring in our ancestors, invite our ancestors to join us to welcome this energy from the cosmic forces and from Mother Earth. So, earth to sky, welcome. And in just a few minutes, we're going live in the Blog Talk studio with Becca Shea, drumming in unity, unity. It's all about unity.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go, here we go. Drumming in, drumming in.
And let's let us find some people full time.
Hey.
From every tribe and language, people, every nation.
Hey.
Where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. Your light will rise and shine.
Wake up, you sleeping giant.
So love and justice shall be healed by the peace. Oh, yeah, bringing us power to unity. Where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. I will try to come alive. Yeah, wake up, you sleeping giant.
unity, peace, joy, love, compassion, wisdom, forgiveness, unity, joy, peace, love, compassion, calling on our ancestors to bring us what we have been unable to do. Unity, 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 peace, 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 joy, 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 healing, 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 joy, love, peace, unity, peace. Woo! Calling all our ancestors tonight to come on in on this 25th day of June, which is an 11, 2023. And we are grateful, grateful, grateful to be on planet Earth for such a time as this. Planet Earth is going, and all its inhabitants are going through a major, major transition right now. We've been in this paradigm of confusion, war, and more war, and hatred, and racism, and all the things that are keeping people sick in their mind, body, and even their soul. So we want to encourage you tonight to do whatever drumming you need to do. Do whatever drumming you need to do. Invite the ancestors and bring in the love energy from the planet Earth, from the cosmic order, from all orders. Tonight we have some special guests. Thank you, thank you. I'm Viata, your host. If you're new to Soul Purpose Healing, I've been on Soul Purpose Healing for 9 years, over 9 years now. And I started out with just me, and then I added another host and another host, one after the other, until I came to this place of inviting a guest to join me and share their journey. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're sharing our journey with the, let's see, Osagio. Let me see if I can pronounce Osagio Dua. Osagio Dua. I think I got that right. And Earth Feather Pata. These special ladies bring us the energy of Art Henson's land in Virginia. And I have to say, it was Mama AZ in Arizona who introduced me to these ladies and introduced me to Art Henson and his land several years ago. I think it's been about 10 years ago that I went to Virginia, camped out must have been, what is it, 30 acres of land. Let's see, Mama AZ has her hand up. So let me open up her mic. Maybe she can help me with the history of Mothers for the Earth. Mama AZ, your mic is open. Welcome. Are you there?
Can you hear me, Dr. V?
I'm going to turn up my mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go right ahead. I'm trying to remember the history of, it's Mothers for the Earth, Art Henson's land in Virginia, right?
Right. It's body ecology, Mothers for the Earth, and how that initially Mothers for the Earth got started was through Priestess Nuruddina. She did her sabbatical or did an internship up there on Art's land.
Oh, that's right.
Way back, and somebody met somebody that brought Brother Kwame to my land, introduced Priestess to me, but way before that, it was Brother Kwame and Priestess was introduced to me by way of the sister that brought Brother Kwame to my campground in North Carolina, High Point. That's the furniture town, if you don't know. And but I was introduced to that land way before, sister, I even knew of Art. In 1979, the ancestors came to me in a dream. I was stationed in San Diego, not in the military, my husband's, and I was attendant. And something called me to take a journey, and I ended up on Arts Land in Virginia and didn't even know it. It was like I went through a vortex. This is a true story. And I was in another dimension. And the next thing I knew, I was rolling up in Art's community before he even came to that land in 1979. And then when I ended up in 81, moving from St. Augustine, Florida to High Point, North Carolina, I was introduced to Art when he had his store in Greensboro, Body Ecology. I have a lot of this on film, family. So anyway, Art took me to the land, and it just blew me away, because his land is in Cunningham division. It's a division named after my people from Colorado, and the Cunninghams, and that's the community. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe where he was taking me, because that's the road that I went up when I was there in 79, and right across was this funeral home called Plenty's Funeral Home. That funeral home that's in Cunningham County or district, that's right up the street from Art, is connected to Plenty Coos out of Montana. I know it is. It's a tribe of in Montana, not too far from Peggy.
Oh, wow.
Not too far from Peggy. I'm not kidding you. And this was before I even met Peggy. I think I was on my way to her. Anyway, then 7, Art's wife, everything just started to come in place. But 7 is no longer there at the organization. But Feather is now.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Feather was commissioned and brought to Art to do what is about and what is now taking place, and other things that haven't quite materialized there yet. It is in the making. And I'm so grateful, because let me tell you, sister, when you call me, I was on the other line with Feather and the other sister. I can't think of her name right now, because I just got in from Miracle Valley, family. My grandson took me out there to have prayer, and anyway, this is awesome. And so Feather said, I asked her, I said, Dr. V, that's Dr. V. And she said, what? I said, yep, that's Dr. V calling in. and so I said, can you, you told me what you needed. And I called her back. I said, hey, I said, little sister, can you be on a guest? And she said, sure. And I'm like, yay. And I had called the Miracle Valley minister, but I think Beth sent him a video of me. And if he saw any of that, I think maybe that's why he has not responded. But he plainly said we were going to go to Miracle Valley together and have prayer, but I haven't heard from him. And it's okay. Feather is on there and not him. It wasn't meant to be. It's coming, though. And I'll be quiet. I'm excited. And I'm picking the cuckabugs, the stickers, because I went out there in my bare feet in the stickers, and I got thorns and all kinds of stickers stuck up in my feet. Now I gotta get them out, and it's about 1,000 of them. But I'm good. I've been earthing in the stickers, the cuckabugs, and I got some energy. And my grandson Xavier and my great granddaughter Shania. Oh, Dr. V, I'm fit to be tied in a good way. I'm grateful. Peace. Okay,
Well,
cool.
I'm so grateful too,
Thank
and
God.
the other sister is I hope I'm pronouncing Osagio Dua is her name, and it has a special name meaning with the divine in it. Osagio Dua. So when she's in the studio, she's in the green room, I'll say, but she's on mute, I believe. So let me, I don't know, I'll bring her in.
Can,
Oh,
I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute, sister.
and Earth Feather is here too. Wow, we got both of the sisters here. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Welcome, Earth Feather, and is it Osagia Dua? She's on mute, but she'll join us.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, it's pronounced Osagio Dua.
Osagia Dua.
Osagio Dua.
And tell us the meaning. Tell us the meaning.
He who has found riches with God,
He who has what again?
found riches with God.
He who has found riches with the Most High Creator. All right, sounds good. Sounds powerful. Earth Feather, how are you doing? You're outside. Oh, I love the environment. Where are you?
Oh, greetings. I'm in the dome off grid trying to set up this camera so I can be hands free. So that's the
Well,
background. I'm inside of our dome. I can swing around and show you real quick.
wow, beautiful.
Just a little, not as organized as normal, but nice
Wow.
little spin around to show you.
Now, what city is that in?
Right now we are in Pleasant Garden.
Pleasant Garden?
Pleasant Garden, North Carolina.
Oh, North
Very close to
Carolina.
Greensboro area, North Carolina A&T. Um, Close to that area. So for all the Aggies,
Okay, and then Osagtia Dua, where are you right now?
I'm in Florida.
And you're in Orlando, near Orlando, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna try and get together this week, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am.
So why don't we start? I'm so excited to have both of you here.
Sorry, I'm nursing. That's why my camera is off because I'm I'm nursing the baby. So
Okay, well, we don't mind, but if you that's okay. I'm glad you can handle that and talk at the same time. Some people might think that women can't do that type of stuff, but
we can.
yeah.
I'll, I'll
Okay.
I'll come for a second, then come off.
Oh, bless your heart. That's so sweet of you. But how old is baby?
3 months. She's 3 months.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you're still nursing then.
Oh yes. She
Do
don't
you
have
have
teeth yet.
do you have other children?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna
And
come off now. I'm gonna take my video off now, but we can still
okay.
talk.
All right. Well, thank you for showing that beautiful scene. That's the most precious scene, a mother nursing her child.
Thank you.
We need to, I hope you're teaching other women. I'm a doula, and I think that's the most precious, that's the most, one of the most important pieces of knowledge that you can teach young women is the value of breastfeeding and doing that after the baby gets here. And how old are your other children?
I had 17, 10, 11, 5, 4, 2, and 3 months.
Okay, so you're building a basketball team, huh?
No, not a basketball team. No, they can't have my babies. And I know I'm building some farmers. They gonna be working in that field.
You got that right. You got
I
that
need
right.
some lumberjacks.
You need some lumberjack. All right, now that's where so your 17-year-old is ready for that, I imagine.
Yeah, he's actually in a program right now with his summer job program in Detroit, Michigan. It's called the Christian Detroit something like that. Yeah. So he'll be doing farming and learning what I need him to learn.
Well, I am really honored to have you join us because that's the most important job in the world is being a mother. And second to that is a teacher.
Yes,
Th-
Mama.
there's not enough money to pay mothers and teachers what they deserve. So we just honor you tonight in that role, and we bless you, and we just we keeping you in our prayers that you will continue to be strong and truthful and anointed to be the best mother and teacher that you can be. Those are the most important roles, in my opinion. So I would love to know how did you grow? Who are your parents that you have chosen to take on these very important roles? What was your childhood like?
Oh, well, my father I never knew, but my mom, me and my mom's always been together, and we still together. She's still with me. Now I have to take care of her now. So yeah, but I'd rather not go into detail about my childhood right now and some stories, but there was good times, there was bad times. There was good times, there was bad. My grandmother was very instrumental in my life. My mom she was like 15 when she had me, so she was a baby raising a baby, right? So my grandmother really raised me, you know, uh, church. I was a little girl on the usher board. I
Wow.
wanted to do everything. It wasn't nothing when I was a kid that you could tell me I can't do it. If you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna show you that I can.
Right. That's right. That's right.
I was always that kid, always that kid. We had a good family. My niece,
Did you have a lot of siblings?
no, I'm actually an only child, but I have aunties that we're like really close in age.
Okay,
We
okay.
we grew up like sisters, but we wasn't sisters. They used to beat me up.
But now, did you have a father figure in your life, though, uncles or someone?
Mm, Not really.
No. Okay.
Not really. There were men in my life that were blood relatives, but I would not say that they were really good role models.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I learned a technique from the Bible. You'll have many mothers and fathers. So everywhere I go in life, and even to this day, I accumulate mentors and mothers and fathers. you know, you know, everywhere I go. Sometimes people don't even know that they're playing that figure, you know, that role in my life, but they are, you know, they are. So even even Earth Feather, I just I've learned to draw that energy. That's that God energy. I learned to draw in from that energy because it's there, and He told us that it's accessible to us. If we don't have what we need immediately, He gonna provide it elsewhere. He will provide it everywhere. So
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
give thanks.
Well, that's a lot of wisdom coming from you, a mother of what is that, 7 now?
Heaven. Yeah,
Wow. Can I ask how old are you?
I'm 38.
Bless your heart. That's awesome. That is so awesome. You are just so representative of what young women need to be taught today. That it's important if we choose to be mothers that we go about it in a positive way because our bodies are meant to have. Every woman, of course, may not want to have children. That's a choice. But
Right.
when you make that choice, that's why I love being the role of a doula when it's needed to help guide women. Did you have anyone in your life when you start having children who played the role of a doula for you? support you needed from the first month of
I
pregnancy?
gave birth to all of my children at the hospital, and sometimes even alone with nobody around but the people at
Really?
the hospital. Yeah, my last two babies, I gave birth like that. Nobody was there.
You
No,
were where? At home?
at the no, at the hospital.
Where? At the hospital?
But
Nobody was
there was no family, no family. I mean like
Oh,
people that my people.
okay.
Nobody was there. It was
Okay.
just me and the staff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but I did it, and yeah,
by the time you birth in number seven, you kind of it seemed like you kind of a pro at that, huh?
right. Because she came out so fast. I'm like, would you just bust the bag and come on, let's get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's well,
They
okay. So
don't do
you
it right. They don't do it right anyway. They have you land on a table, and that's not the way our ancestors did it. It doesn't make sense anyway because the fluids are, if you're laying down, then the fluids are laying down with you, right?
right,
So you trying to push the baby out, and you need things to come down. So it makes more sense to squat, right?
right, right. And were all of them born in Orlando?
No, no, they weren't.
So I'm trying to figure out where in this modern day why a hospital is not more aware of need to squat or certainly not to lay down. Uh,
Exactly.
that hospital is so off balance, so out of touch with the reality of today. But then that's how a doula can help you. And you seem like you played the role of doula for yourself.
I
And
did. I almost with my son that's two. I almost gave birth to him at home by myself, but when those contractions started coming, I needed support, so I couldn't just be in the room. But I was in the jacuzzi. I was ready. I had my candles, my little battery operated candles. I set them all up around the tub, and I was I set the mood for myself. I said, okay, I have my meditation music playing, but when those contractions start feeling like a truck hitting me, I said, okay, I can't take it. I
yeah,
couldn't have by myself. I needed somebody to squeeze, or a rail or something to squeeze, or something to make sure I didn't fall when I did squeeze.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Such a great attitude. Now, where did you learn this attitude about birthing? Was your mother the support and the
Mm,
teacher for you?
I think it's just ancestral. It's ancestral. Like one day I just woke up to a different me. I One day I woke up in that come out of her my people mode, and it was like a pull more than my own self walking away from what, you know, the most high is saying come out of my people for, so it was just like a pull away from it, like I want you to move, and I'm gonna move you like that. Yeah. Say
Wow.
give it all back. I heard God clearly tell me give it all back to them. You don't need anything from them. Give it back. You don't need it, because you already have everything. I provided everything for you already. When before they came, you had it already. It's already yours. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I mean, we're speaking to an angel here. It just almost makes me cry to hear the wisdom that you're speaking about this so natural process. They say there's the statistics say that more Black women are dying in childbirth and experiencing death babies of their babies. How is that? What do you feel about that statistic, and why is you think that's happening when you seem to have such joy about this natural process? Why do you think so many Black women are not having this experience?
I think, and I've heard a lot of people in the medical field even talk out about this. Like they've even had rallies about this, talking about this. Um, mortality rate with black women and having babies, um, it makes me think about, and I love her, Dr. Joy DeGruy. And I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes, yes.
Yes, she's a great lady, great sister.
Great
But
teacher.
great mother to me. But
Yeah.
she broke things down, to show us um what we were working with, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people were in denial of a system that we are living in, so
Right.
you had to bring out the tools and show us, that what kind of game it was, and then we seen it in their movies and things that they promote of themselves. We see that image, so I believe that nobody shows things that they're not about, right? All those
Okay.
evil movies about the mad scientists and the doctors and all that, with the jars and the babies and with the limbs and all that crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed us those things even about themselves. So, you know, we ain't got nothing else to do but believe them, for because they told us who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're bringing, and we weren't even planning to talk about it, but the fact that
Mm-mm.
you have 7 children, honey, we got to talk about your experience a little bit,
Yeah.
because that's so rare and precious for women, young women especially, to hear
Mm.
your wisdom.
I
And
mean, they were using our foremothers, right? For we were there. Our mothers were their experiments. You know,
yes,
they were
yes,
their experiments, and they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't care what they were doing, and they still the same way to this
yeah,
day. They still
yeah,
have that, because the Bible says that they hate us for no reason at all. They don't even have a reason to hate us. They just do. And when somebody hates you, they're gonna do some evil, spiteful things to you. So you can't trust them. Every time I go into the hospital, I pray. I pray. Everywhere I go, I pray anyway. If I'm just around some family that don't got right spirits, I'ma pray. You know, 'cause he tell us in all that you do. So I try my best to be obedient. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, many of them, but I try. I try.
no, honey, you doing more than trying. You are being the woman, the female powerful energy that were intended to be. Because when you are at your age, when you are a mother and a teacher to those new souls, you are setting such a beautiful example to the rest of our society. I don't care what color they are. You're setting a perfect example of
Mhm.
how you start out your young life as a woman, and and be very positive about it, and help the new souls. You got 7 new souls there that are going to get their knowledge and wisdom first from you and their father. So we've got to take a break. This
Well,
is so,
maybe sometimes not the father, but that's okay too.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Is the father around?
Well, they all don't have the same father.
Okay, well, that's okay, but as long as it's a healthy
They send
relationship.
money.
Huh?
They send money.
Okay. So you have a healthy relationship with their father?
I don't know what you would call healthy. I
Okay, well,
wouldn't call it healthy. I would call it just coping. You know,
yeah.
we have to raise these children. My stance is strong all over across the board. We have to raise each other. Either you can do your part or you can disappear if that's what you so choose. But you got to take that up with God, not me, right? So anybody who chooses not to be present and instrumental in their own seed life, hey, what can I do? But I don't shut anyone off, to say you can't come see your kid. No way. I would never. My 10 and 11-year-old, they're with their dad right now. They'll be back tomorrow. But you know, we shared time, and sometimes you just grow apart from folks, especially if you don't have the same purpose in life, if you don't have the same mission. Sometimes people, when they see your light, they want to dim it, and that you can't let nobody do. Once you get in that mirror and you start looking strange and like, who is that? That means get on away from them. Got to move on away from somebody with that kind of energy.
All right, now we've got to take a break, and if you're just joining us, you're listening to one powerful female sister energy speaking wisdom like we haven't heard before, because what this sister is talking about is so real and relevant to today, where the relationships we have with not just our children, but the father, the husband, the father, and all that is just so important to keep it positive. And you're so right, things don't always go the way we plan or like, but and then this is where sisterhood comes in, because you're choosing not the route of abortion like so many Black women choose, and women period, but you're choosing to let the process of pregnancy go ahead, take its full term, and then finding a way to support those souls that you bring forth. This is so unusual. My goodness.
It's just that faith in God. Like, but that's why the Bible says, train your children up in the word, and they'll never depart from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back and finish this conversation. And I heard Earth Feather, she's on mute right now, and
I'm still here. I'm listening.
And that's my sister. Okay, God sent me an angel down. That's the angel.
So we're gonna have a sisterhood feast tonight, and I am just I tell you, I'm almost in tears at the amount of wisdom I just heard, and so rare to hear this from a woman of your age and your everything. So we'll be right back after these minutes. I'm going to open up the mic of our executive producer, Naima Latif. If you are in the studio or on Facebook or YouTube, I'm on YouTube, Viada's Tiny House Village. You need to call your friends tonight, men and women, because this sister is speaking some deep wisdom, and we haven't even heard from Earth Feather yet. So it's gonna be a really powerful journey tonight. Naima, your mic is open if you want to take us to commercials, and I'm gonna get my tea because I'm gonna be ready to continue this powerful discussion. We'll be right back, so stick and stay. Don't go away.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Life transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining. If you're just joining us, we're here having our minds blown by an angel of sorts, Osagia Duwa. I hope I pronounced that right. And Earth Feather are here in the Blog Talk studio or on StreamYard. We just had our minds blown because hi there, Earth Feather's back. And I'm just so grateful for both of you sisters coming on to tell us about your very unique journey. And we just had a pro-life sister share her 7 children journey and explain why soul purpose healing is so. This show, I never heard soul purpose healing come to life so much as listening to Osagia Duwa. Her purpose is to bring forth new souls, and hey, use your mind to feed them, support them. That's what we do. We don't go and say, well, the Planned Parenthood has a better plan. Hell no. But this is a very unique soul here tonight.
But we can't. We also sometimes, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I had to right there because sometimes, sisters have to do what they have to do, and we can't hold that, we have to just pray for that,
Well, we've been doing that, but we have killed more Black babies in the abortion clinics. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there's a higher number of babies that have been killed by abortion. Mm-hmm. So that's the reality, along with the mortality rate. So you're just such a bright light. So Earth Feather, I think you're on mute.
There we go.
Welcome, my sister. I can't wait to hear your story. You're gonna blow our minds too. This is mind blowing night. I'm just so excited and so grateful to hear these very positive stories. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you're doing today.
Sure. Well, I am definitely from my mother, Denise Holman, born and raised in New Jersey.
Oh wow.
Yes, my parents met high school sweethearts, kind of typical story. Had me, only child, but I too wanted to fill the earth and become many. The first book that, I'm in the country, so you heard people hunt out here, but
okay.
So fill the earth, become many. I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness, very strict Jehovah's Witness, and it's the fireworks. That's what they're doing. It's fireworks because July 4th, we're in the country.
Okay.
But
early, huh?
Hopefully it's not too disruptive.
No, go ahead. Just keep going.
Okay. So yes, my parents was brought up Jehovah's Witness. They could not get pregnant. My mom couldn't get pregnant. So they both went on a juice fast. And on the 30th day, my mom got pregnant.
Wow.
And they had me. And so she brought me up very sheltered. I have to say, I kind of grew up in a bubble. I was allergic to everything because I was born holistically, naturally. And the first book that I learned to read was the Bible. And so that when that came about, and reading the Bible and just wanting to please God, and with wanting to obey everything that we learned at the Kingdom Hall, it just kept me in tune with what God wanted me to do in life. And I was always very scholarly. I love to read, I love books, and that's where my life began, by just reading for myself, not just taking people's words for it. And I was just that old soul that wanted to be around the older people. My grandparents were like my best friends. I had friends that were my age, don't get me wrong, but being an only child, I had to be around the adults.
Yeah.
So I learned a great deal from being around my grandfather, who was an indentured slave, what they like to call sharecropper, but I say it's indentured servant slavery. But I learned a great deal from him when it came to knowing who I was, knowing myself, and not depending on what people told me. And he would always call himself the walking truth. And that's one thing he would tell me, is that if you tell the truth, you never have to remember a lie. So I love to be a truth teller and a truth seeker. I love researching. I'm constantly researching. And I came to know Art Henson through research, through natural wellness. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and I was told that I had, what did they say, 6 months? You know how they always give you this clock of how long you're going to live? But that was over 9 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm still here, and I didn't have the surgery that they told me to have. Artist Henson told me that I had to stop eating things that were dead. And I went on a raw food fast, just like I came into this existence. And it reset my body, it reset my spirit, my skin cleared up, my hair. I was just like, whoa, this is awesome.
No
So through that
chemo
process
no
of,
chemo or anything like that, huh?
what'd you say?
No chemotherapy or anything like that.
No, never. And it's still expressed somewhat, you can see, but not like it used to be. I mean, it was to the point where I could not breathe.
Oh, okay.
And depending on my sleep patterns and things like that, it shrinks over time. I have moments where especially if I stay away from breads and pastas and gluten, then it shrinks dramatically. And he was the one that taught me about raw foods, again, reintroduced me to eating living foods. And I lived with Art for some time and had that discipline to be able to learn how to prepare the foods so that they would taste delicious and I could continue the path. So most of my diet now is raw, but I have added some cooked things into, to balance myself. But what he taught me as far as healing, I know without a doubt that is the best way to get rid of any benign cellular changes in the body. It's to starve them, and it's to have good fresh water in the body, and it's to make sure that you're not eating things that are cooked. And you can take it a step further by making sure that you're eating things that are perennial, meaning that they don't have to be planted into the ground every year, because if they're not strong enough to grow back on their own, they're not strong enough to rebuild your body's cellular makeup and the cellular biology of your body. So because I'm a scholar, because I love to read, because I love to research, I know that God uses me to deliver information to others. And that's how we started the cooperative Healing Springs Pharmacy, because Art just gave us such a wealth of knowledge. And I expressed to him how I'm very drawn to our sisters and the sisterhood and wanting to uplift each other. And so he assisted me with creating the cooperative network, and also our nonprofit. We have a 501c3 nonprofit. So that's just me in a nutshell,
And
and my
you have
life.
children?
Yes, I'm a mom of 5.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes,
How
my
old is
eldest is 22, and my youngest is 7.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm 44. So I honestly, if the Most High wills, I would love to have more. My husband is 57 though, so I feel like, I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not planning on having it, but we're not trying to stop it either, because I am still able to have children, and
Right.
I would eventually again.
That's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, how you told me that you're developing that land in Virginia. How is that process going? And I was there for several days, just sleeping in a tent, and I came home. I tell people about this story. I came home with a tick right on my chest. In fact, while we were on, it was about 5 women, and while we were on the patio being taught and having the classes, there were these bugs on the table, and I said, "Well, what are those?" And they said, "Oh, those are ticks." And I'm like, "Ticks? We're in the presence of ticks?" And of course, your mind goes to, okay, Lyme disease and all that. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And you just kind of relax because Art's not scared, and his wife.
Right. There's nothing to be afraid of. Fear is what limits us from our true selves.
Yeah.
And every living thing on this planet has a soul,
Right. Oh, okay. Even the ticks, huh?
even the ticks. And they all have a purpose too. I've been learning more and more about nature. And the more alkaline your body is, the less likely they are to bother you. I could
Oh,
look at Art and those bugs would just not bother him at all. While someone else that would come to the land, you would see it automatically, but like the mosquitoes would get them and the skin would. It happened to me when I first got there when I was toxic. So when the body is in a way of homeostasis and you don't have a foul odor to your body, certain things happen when you're alkaline, when you're cleansed, when you're detoxing, that they are attracted to you. There's a chemotoxis that these bugs are attracted to that's in your bloodstream. But if you're not if your pheromones especially aren't attracting them, they won't bother you as much. And over
well,
time of being in nature, you'll
mm,
notice that it gets less and less and less. But when you first get there, of course, you're new, you're fresh meat. So they like, who's this? So they're gonna come around you. But then if your body is not, giving off those odors and the smells, you won't even attract them as much.
well, it's funny because in fact, Kwame helped me calm down. When I got home, I called Kwame. I had a tick on me, and I broke out in a rash. And Kwame said, "Oh, they're just giving you some of their medicine." It's like he was like,
Mhm.
"Chill out, chill out." And okay, okay. And all I got from that was a rash on my back, and
Yeah.
then it was over.
The body has a way of healing itself, and your immune system over time can reject, block different things. Because I mean, I've been bitten by an ant and I thought it was the end. I thought I was just over. I said, okay, God, I'm done with life, because the way that hurt for such a small animal to
Yeah.
do that,
Oh, yeah.
you
Pain.
know,
Talk about
and
pain.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
create the natural repellents that Art taught me a lot of great recipes, and I make some bug sprays to keep them away. But my son, he says to me, because he was outside playing, and I said, Ishmael, you want me to spray your mat with the stuff? I made some stuff to keep the ants away. He says, no, mommy, please just leave them, because the queen loves her ants.
Oh
They
my.
help her, and she needs them.
What kind of child is that? Another alien on the
He
planet.
is he's like a spitting image of Art. He can eat an entire bag of oranges, apples, cucumbers. That's what he'll do. He eats like that raw all day long. He will
Yeah.
eat just like how Art does, because him and Art were very close. So he got to see that lifestyle, walking with him, talking with him, sitting with him, seeing how Art lives. And he's got like the physique. And it's very eerie,
Yeah.
honestly, the way that they are. It's
Wow.
eerie.
That is interesting. He
Yeah.
didn't leave us. His spirit transferred over to your son or something. Yeah.
You know how spirit works.
Yeah. That's
It just
really
it just
interesting.
goes where it needs to go.
Yeah. But see, I've had friends who have had Lyme disease, and they swear that this tick created all this suffering that they're going through. And I'm thinking, and my study, I now know that a lot of it is emotional, a lot of it could be Epstein-Barr virus. And like you said, the alkaline or acid condition of a body will determine how bad you react from an insect biting you. And I'm starting to see that's coming to light very clearly when and two of these two people suffered greatly
Mhm.
from what they call Lyme disease from a little tick. And I'm like, after all the research and the studying and experience I've had, nah, it wasn't that little tick that did it. There was more to
Right.
it
There
than that
has to
little
be
tick.
some other underlying issues that get the body out of whack that fast from
Yes,
something, because there
yes,
is a venom that every living thing has within them. They have their own pH. So if it's that strong that it's going to throw you off, then yes, your body's ability to create white blood cells has been compromised. And we have to rebuild our immune system by being out in nature. That's one way, like he said, it's giving you a little bit of medicine. It's like, hey, you need a little bit of this, because if 50 of us came and got you, you'd be out of here. So let me give you a little bit at a time so that, kind of building you up. Because I have seen where people have gotten bit by lots and lots of something, but they still live, while other people would go into anaphylactic shock because their body doesn't have the ability to get the histamine blockers going. They don't have the abilities. But someone that's been bit time after time after time after time is going to have a tolerance. So that's the same thing with allergies and the allergy seasons. If you're out in nature more often, you're less likely to have hard allergies.
Yeah. So let me go. I see we have a hand. Are you ready to take some callers?
Sure.
Questions? Looks like Kwame Sunhorse. So he's gonna join the conversation. Mama AZ, your mic is still open. So if you have a comment, I'm gonna leave your mic open because you're so much a part of this body ecology, Mothers for the Earth. And now I'm bringing in Kwame Sunhorse, who is also a big part of this body ecology, art, hints, and history. So, Brother Kwame, your mic is open.
Yes, and good evening, Sister Beata, and good evening to your guests and to one another also, especially.
Yeah.
It's good to hear Art is alive. His body may have left us, but his spirit will always be there.
Yes.
And Art was one of the things of the Overground Railroad, because that 200 acres was an oasis.
Yes.
And that oasis had the ancestor spirit, and Mama AZ was good at seeing those spirits that were there on that land.
Yes.
And so it was part of this journey that we began, and how I met those. That's how Viata came into the circle with Mama AZ and some others that were there. I'm looking at, what we're looking at, and she was talking about all things have spirit. And the part of it is that, what is it called? Panpsychism. Pan is the all, and psychism is the mind or the spirit. Everything is connected. That's why we say Mentakiyori, I say in Native American, all my relations. Because we are related to everything upon this mother. And the part that we're doing now in having the elders come together, that we had a gathering the end of last month. But what we had is that we're now looking at how do we decolonize this whole system. And the sister was very much on point in saying that what the elders are saying about what we eat, we should not eat anything that's not in its own packaging. We should not eat anything that is not in its own packaging. That means that everything grows in its own packaging, and this is where the consumption comes, not in the plastic bags or the can or the saran wrap or all of these other parts that we see in those death industry places called the supermarket. The thing that we're seeing now in this decolonization is understanding that a lot of the elder women and some of the elder men are teaching us how to forage our food, how to eat with our relatives, because our relatives is what grows in the forest, because the forest is the first community. And what we're doing is we're becoming communal again in being able to eat from our mother, because we are under our mother, which is called the Milky Way. And this is what she feeds her. That's why it's called the Milky Way. It's the way in which the milk, the energy of that galaxy, feeds all those planets in our solar system and feeds this planet with the cosmic consciousness we need for our new evolution, which we're moving from a Homo sapien to a Homo spiritus. And it's really important how we begin to understand how we have to reconnect, because as the Hopi says, is that you are the one you've been waiting for. You are the one you've been waiting for. And no other better person to do and receive what Creator gave us by allowing us to conceive ourselves and grow in a womb and grow and come forth on this earth, and to now see that we have a new purpose in this part of the galaxy that we're now in for this new evolution. So it's very much on point how we begin to use these tools, because I did a presentation. It said my presentation was DI on TI versus AI. Divine intelligence on Turtle Island versus artificial intelligence. Divine intelligence is what we have been living in since the conception of this planet. And the thing that we understand, as the elders tell us, is that the earth does not need the human needs the earth. And we better wake up to that fact. So I thank the sisters for sharing. And, you know, it's very important we're talking about the life that's coming onto the planet. Every 7 seconds since we've been talking on this show, there's a child coming from a womb. There are over 12,394 children born in a day. We have to understand that that is the new beginning of the 7 generations that are to come that we speak of in our tradition. Thank us.
Thank us. And let me, that's so, I'm going to, what would you ladies like to comment or on that, what Kwame just said?
Absolutely. It was beautiful when he mentioned Milky Way, honestly. I just wrapping up a project with NASA where they selected the young urban farmers and the Art and Life Foundation to promote some different tools that are available to farmers, and especially farmers of color. And they have a survey that they put out asking us, what are the barriers? How do we feel? Why don't we take advantage of these different things? And it's because of knowledge. If people don't know something is available to them, it's really difficult to use. So working with them is teaching me about different tools that we can use as farmers that a lot of other people have had access to for so long. And that's why they have different cutting edge, like he said, with some is artificial intelligence, some is divine intelligence. So if you have divine intelligence, but then you have an edge where you can utilize some tools that have been developed by our tax dollars to enhance your life, to make your life a little bit easier, why wouldn't you use it if it's not going to hurt other people? So these tools that I'm learning about slowly but surely, I feel will definitely be a benefit to me, and I'll be able to teach others. And our first street name is Milky Way.
Oh,
And I'm glad he said that. We're fundraising for our street signs right now. Healing Springs Farm is our cash tag, Healing Springs Farm. And the beautiful thing about our streets is that they will be named after our people. We will have an Artist Henson way. We have a Mama Bonfire AZ, the way that she wants us to spell it. We have, a Earth Feather Circle. So it's named after us, and all of the founding members that are a part of our association are going to be able to decide how we run our community. This is not a dictatorship. Even though I am the chiefess, I'm an empress of the property appointed by Art, I have to teach everyone what I have learned, what Art has taught me, because we are one. And we all have something that we should master in this collective, in this cooperative, in this community. We have sisters in Mississippi. I have a sister that has land out there that's growing food down there. We have a sister in South Carolina. We have sister that's coming from Florida to join us in Virginia as well. And that's our sister that's on the call with us. So we just have to make sure, like he was saying, that we have that collective energy, that collective spirit, collective consciousness. And it's a global thing. Everything that we do is affecting what's happening all over the world. You got to see that when there was smoke in the air from Canada, and people all the way in New York and people all the way in the South were experiencing that. And once we realize that everything that I do has an effect on you and everyone else, we'll start to make different decisions on how we live our lives. And sustainability is the key. Our carbon footprint, reducing our carbon footprint and being kinder to nature, doing the ways of our ancestors. If you cut a tree, you plant another one. So it's all about this regenerative culture, and that's what we're practicing in Alton. So I'm so grateful that you're on the call, brother, and that you know Art and your love is felt.
hey, hallelujah. We're going to take go ahead. After his comment, we're going to take another break. Go ahead, Kwame.
One little comment, because what she's talking about is what's called astrogeography. And being able to know that there's planetary alignments and which we have to understand is that this is why our ancestors built sacred sites and sacred places on this earth, is because there's a grid. And once we understand our connection as above, so below. And when we began to understand with the community of the forest has a wood wide web, which is greater than any world wide web because it's been existing since this planet formed itself. This is the way it grew itself. And so we're understanding that connection of our wood wide web is connected to the cosmic web. And the understanding is how do we align with the planetary alignment, as the Farmer's Almanac tells you. How you plant with the moon, how you plant in certain seasons, how you plant with different times of the moon. So this is what NASA is sharing, what our ancestors knew, what NASA got from our ancestors. I thank you for sharing that, my sister.
Ashe, yes, that's the beauty of it all. This work has been done. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we should have the knowledge of the tools available to us spiritually and in this world.
And I need to come up there and have some lessons on planting and all of that. Because my son has some property here that I live on. I'm just not a very good planter, but I got squash growing all over the place. I didn't even plant. I just threw compost out there, and now squash is growing everywhere. So but I need some lessons on that. So when we come back, I want to talk more about that land up there because I was on that land, and I was, as Kwame was talking, as you're talking, I'm thinking, why did I visit that land? Why, me of all people, did I have the opportunity to really? I mean, and we walked all over that land with we had to have a knife to cut the hedges and all that. So I'm just thinking about that. Why I had to visit that land. But we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. So stick and stay. Don't go away. Naima Latif, our executive producer of The Female Solution, is going to play more commercials and we'll be right back.
Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. The Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Susan Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Susan Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're permitted to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Susan Essentials help you take control of your health today.
Oh, man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit
mindfulness.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We got some amazing sisters in the house, female energy from the cosmos, and their energy is off the chain in terms of wisdom tonight. And we're on YouTube Live. That's Viata's Tiny House Village. And we're also on Facebook Live, Soul Purpose Healing, and my personal page, Vieta or Viata Robinson. And then we're here in the studio of Blog Talk Radio, as well as the Female Solution, Soul Purpose Healing. So we're giving you all kinds of options in case things go wrong. And they do sometimes go wrong, but you can choose how you want to listen or view these beautiful women on StreamYard. So 2014, I was thinking during the break, what was the year that I visited Virginia, Alton, Virginia, Art Henson's land, and met him and his wife at the time. Her name was Seven at the time, but that's changed. So since 2014, okay, we're talking 9 years. Wow, the number 9 again. Oh, that's really interesting. I've been on Soul Purpose Healing 9 years. It was 9 years ago that I visited that land after my divorce. And after we sold our house, and I had the money to fly to Alton, rent a car, and drive to Art's land from the airport, and experience an amazing trip in the jungle, basically. So, Earth, what is the jungle? Is the jungle still the jungle in Virginia?
Mostly, yes. And
Okay.
yes, mostly. There are some slight changes. We have our first resident, well, besides my husband and myself, who signed on as a lessee, and she started building her barn on her farm, on her 3 acres. We've also developed more streets since you've come. Art has carved out some streets, so we have an entrance from the Milky Way to be able to get down and then make a left at the cabin. My husband and I also made a new little street, but mostly, yes, still jungle, but managed jungle, more so stewarded jungle, where you are able to get down. We can get to the lake properly. You don't really need your machete because we've been trying our best to keep the roads a little clear. But if you're walking, it wouldn't hurt to have the machete in certain spots, so we try our best to keep it wild. But we are in the process of developing a sustainable community, which would leave a majority of the trees, because the trees are our life. We are half the tree. It's our lungs.
Absolutely.
So one of the big things that we encourage our people to do is to use permaculture design principles, which were made popular by Bill Mollison, but it's basically just using the ancestors' ways. He basically just reintroduced it in a organized fashion, like kind of scientific way, where you observe everything that's going on. So instead of just going in and cutting down all your trees, you go in and you say, I think this is going to be a good spot for my house. Let me just cut some trees, then replant, so that I don't destroy the ecosystem, that vibrational frequency that all of these roots have developed over all these years. You don't want to just destroy that, clear the land, and then your land is barren. You have to plant grass seed, you have to plant shrubs, there's no need to do that. If there are things there naturally that are prolific, growing, that are not going to be invasive or take over your crops, then why not leave them there? Allow them to be. Allow nature to take its course. I like to make sure I observe the land. But yes, pretty much it's the same.
I can't wait to visit again, because I want to see the transformation. And as you said, being more sensitive and conscious to let the trees be, and work around the trees is definitely the way to do it, so that the energy will be so healing, because you're allowing mother nature to rule, right? I mean, you're not going in there and say, well, this is the way we're going to do things, and that you're just going to have to cooperate, trees and animals and grass and all that. And in fact, I remember us walking. I don't know even how we got to that lake. We went so many different routes to get to the lake. I was just following the crowd, and I'll never forget that Seven had no top on whatsoever. She was her locks were covering her breasts, and I'm thinking, this is one brave sister. All the rest of us had long sleeves on, and she had a little wrap around her waist and no top, and just her locks. And okay, the most crazy. And I'm from Chicago. I'm born and raised in Chicago. So there was a reason the Most High. I'm talking divine purpose reason that the Most High had me visit that place to overcome fear. I think even that I took part in an ayahuasca ceremony,
Oh, nice.
and people were asking me, well, what did you get out of it? I said, I got rid of fear. So I
Hmm.
was scared to death of going into this ceremony. I'm like, what's going to happen? The frog medicine, they're going to put this in me, and then this is going to happen. I'm like, oh, and so I knew this was about getting rid of fear for me, and overcoming other weaknesses in my life. But even that being on that land, that was kind of fearful. Being in the jungle, and then everybody, it started to rain a little, and all the women were in the lake except me. I'm like, nope, not getting in the lake. And I think maybe one more I just stood by the tree and hung out with the trees, admiring the trees. And all the women just jumped right into the lake. I said, with no clothes or whatever. I just wasn't there yet. So maybe the
Well,
next.
normally I'm there all the time. When you live in nature, it happens naturally where you just don't wear clothes. I'm being very respectful to you all today on the Blog Talk Radio Live.
Yes,
But
yes.
normally, yeah, just like Seven would be on the land, that's how it just happens naturally for anyone. The more and more that you're out there, you just, clothes are just a nuisance if it's not cold. So,
Yeah, I was half naked today because it's hot, and I had a little bitty tight thing on, and a little bitty shorts, and I'm like, I felt great. I
well, I
know.
put this on about an hour ago for you guys. Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah, it feels great to be naked. That's why the beach is good for bikinis, because you don't want to be too many clothes on at the beach,
well,
especially.
I go to a private beach now because again,
Oh,
the clothes are a restriction, and I love to bathe in the ocean, and the sand is a great exfoliator. I'm learning so much more about how nature really does create every beauty product that you could ever imagine, and we don't have to destroy our epidermic layer with all of these toxins and alcohols, and it's just so many things that we've been putting into our bodies and putting on our bodies for beauty that are unnecessary.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And your skin looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I don't
So
have any makeup on. I don't wear makeup. I
not
use
either.
my essential oils. We have an essential oil called Fountain of Youth that we make at Body Ecology. We have a female libido one, which really livens me up, helps me feel young. And we also have our shea butter formula, our special signature formula that helps keep my skin tight. So I try my best to take care of myself. And like I said, all the natural beauty products are all made by Body Ecology.
And where can people buy those?
So right now, we are a private company. We're a foundation. So I have people that can either call me or they can go to our website, our Square Up website for Healing Springs Pharmacy to get like the mouthwashes. But on our Facebook page, Body Ecology Life Attunement Center, you'll see the phone number to contact me. You can text me or call me. That's how we've been doing a lot of the orders. I'm trying to keep it like Art did because he had a system. And products are not just to be purchased, they're to be needed. So if somebody has a specific issue, we want to make sure that you're getting the right thing. We don't really want people just buying things. So it's best that we consult you so that we can give you your prescriptions,
Mhm.
from the pharmacist. And
Right.
because that's what we are. We are a pharmacy. So it's best that we speak to you. If it's something like maintenance, like our herbal detox formula, people usually can just go, online and purchase it. or just call me, because that doesn't require, me to really figure out what's going on with you personally,
Mhm.
to detox your system. But all of our other formulas, we usually talk to the people directly. Somebody like you might refer a client to us, and that's how most of the time we create formulas for people.
Right. Let me just read some of the comments on Facebook. I'm not ignoring them, but I'm just so interested in getting as much as I can from you two ladies while you're here. And Osagia, are you going to come back on the screen, or are you going to hide all night?
I think you can't see. Can you see me?
Well, you're like a shadow. You're in the dark.
Oh, because that's just the lighting in here.
Okay, because I could see you, but I was like, oh, she's still
Lighting is bad in here.
Okay, let me read some comments and maybe you can adjust the lighting so you can share some more with us. We've got Denise Payne is here. She says, I'm in here. So much love. Yeah, you got it right. I think that's what I've been feeling, Denise, is so much love from these sisters. Number one, for themselves, and so in touch with who they are and their purpose. When you meet people like these two sisters, Osaji, I'm gonna get this name, Osaji Aduwa and Earth Feather, you feel the love for self first. I'm learning tonight what that feels like to talk to people who love themselves as much as you two ladies do and who are demonstrating your divine purpose in such a unique, beautiful way. So yeah, Denise is right. So much love. She must be feeling the love too.
And
And
you
then
know what? That was me. That's my legal name. I typed it when I was on Facebook earlier, and then I came on your video. So that was me.
who is that?
My legal name is Tynese Payne, Earth Feather.
Oh,
And I was on Facebook first, then I realized that I needed to be on the link you sent me so that if people wanted to see in the camera. So that was me.
oh my goodness. I'm thinking this is two separate people. Oh,
But that was
that's
the
so
only comment I made, and I figured out I have to be on the video. So, but there's lots of love, and I do feel it. My alter ego feels it.
well, you've been with on my Facebook for a while though, haven't you?
I
Yeah.
did. I did.
Yeah. Okay, so we are really old friends, old connections.
We just never got to do this. This is
I
perfect.
know. This is so long coming. Oh my goodness. This is a significant, this is an 11 today, 6/25/23. And I'm really seeing the significance of this number today. And then the fact that 9 years ago I visited Arts Land. 9 years ago, I divorced. I my marriage ended, and oh, just give me chills thinking about all the divine energy putting all this together at this time. So our Monday morning health, Zelda's host of Female Solution, says, grand evening, awesome queen teachers, so glad to hear your birthing experiences were pleasurable. That's a rarity. Thanks for teaching squatting process. Yes. Hospitals don't care, still using ancient practices. Refusal to connect with natural birth, non-profitable. So there again, I think is why the mortality rate is high among women of color, because they trust in these hospitals too much. I don't know if you ladies agree or not with that. When they say talk about, they want to bring out, they want to say we're victims of the system, but my opinion is more like there's a knowledge that's missing, there's an ignorance level in the community that's missing, that we need to help the sisters come out of and realize you cannot trust the system to help you have a healthy pregnancy, number one, and then have a healthy birth. So, ladies, do you have any comment about that? You're both in on mute right now.
Well, absolutely. I feel it's necessary for us to care for ourselves, like how Lakeisha said she almost gave birth on her own. Her practicing meditation and her
Called
and,
you.
and her ability to deal with some of the pain, you know, there's a threshold of pain, however, that some people have. Some people can take it, some people can't. And everybody's different. But there's this one moment that you get a euphoric energy And I'm sure she could describe that to you, where you when you're pushing and you get this gratification. And especially if you're in that goddess pose, if you're squatting and you're getting into the groove of the way that we're supposed to give birth. I wasn't able to do that because of fear, my family's fear, my husband's fear. Oh no, the doctor said, the doctor said, the doctor said. But then when I started looking at my own body in the mirror, taking a mirror and actually looking at it and using and doing Kegels, I said, well, wait a minute, this is a muscle. So if I learn how to work with the contractions, I don't have to have their drugs, because the drugs make you weaker so that you can't push. The epidural makes you feel no pain so you don't know when to push. Then you have to get that C-section. So it's a calculated move that they make in order to make the most money they can off of you. Every single thing they do, they can bill it. There's a billing code for every single procedure, even if they just bringing you an aspirin. That aspirin might cost you $200. Once they build it and brought it to you with it, I mean, it's ridiculous, some of these billing codes. But we have to remember that life is free. Just like that commercial we heard, the sun is free. Giving birth is free. Have you ever seen a dog or a cat out in nature run to the veterinarian on their own to go give birth? No. You're going to see those cats the next day running all over the place, or a week later running around. You're going to wonder, where's those stray cats? Then they're going to pop up with babies.
And they're so much affected by your energy and the relationships you're in. I had a friend whose dog had cancer, and she and her husband were in the worst relationship. They were arguing all the time. She hated him at times. That dog developed cancer. She used the veterinarian to give the dog chemotherapy. I never heard of that before. Giving a dog, and the dog died several months later. It's like, bleh. So yeah, that's the dynamics about being natural, even with your pets, is big. Oh, Saja, did you have a comment about she just mentioned about the birthing experience?
Yeah, it was really challenging, but I learned how to breathe.
Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
learned how to channel my chi, and my sister, thank you, because she taught me something also called Reiki, and that breathing and channeling is very important
In life, yes.
in life, period. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Like, it's an unexplainable, like, you can't even, it's God, the breath. That's the breath of God is in you. Ye are gods, right? Ye are God's
Yes.
offspring.
The
Right.
prana life
I am
force.
that I am. So when you embody that, and you be that, you know, I'm telling you, I was so afraid in the hospital room by myself with no family around and those people around me. It was, when I had my son, I prayed for a black woman to deliver my baby because I wanted a doula so bad in there. I called Earth Feather. I remember I was going in labor. Oh my God. And I was almost panicking. I called my sister, like, oh my God, I don't know.
And all we did was just the mind. It begins with the mind. Just talking from distance. Doing my distance Reiki symbol, sending her divine energy.
And I
And she
prayed.
was able to remember
Mm,
all your training. It came right back to you.
I did.
Until you said, like, it got to that moment, you said, girl, I couldn't take it anymore. But look at how far you got.
And they
The
like, you
mind
don't want
over the
any
matter.
meds? I'm like, no, I don't want any meds. Don't give me no epidural, no pills. I said, I breathed it out every contraction, especially with Zion. With my daughter, my last daughter, I was breathing in there, and that lady was looking at me like, are you a human?
So we don't care what they looking like. That's none of her business. So we're gonna breathe how we need to breathe,
You
right?
and you know what? We got to be really careful because they love to give us medicine. They love to do that. And I had went in when I was pregnant with my last daughter. I went in because I was having some gallstones, and they kept wanting to give me morphine
Oh my.
and no food.
Oh my.
I said, okay, first of all, I'm pregnant. You want to give me no food for 2 days? And they kept coming in like, you okay? Do you want some morphine? And I'm no, I want some food. And she said, well, she had me hooked up to this baby monitor thing. And I'm like, okay, the thing is malfunctioning, first of all, because when you bend cords anyway, whatever kind of device they have, if you bend a cord, it's not going to work properly. You know, the electricity needs to flow. So they obviously don't know that. So I'm like, okay, the thing is not working because it's malfunctioning. So they're like, no, the baby's heartbeat is off. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my baby's heartbeat. My baby's heartbeat is fine and I'm hungry. So food, y'all done moved the gut. They put a camera thing down my throat and they put me to sleep. They put me to sleep, put the camera thing down my throat to remove the gallstones.
Oh.
So when I came out of that surgery, I'm like, I'm hungry. Like, okay, I can eat now. Like, the thing is over. Like, give me food. And they like, well, we just want to check baby. And I'm like, baby is fine. I didn't even come in here for baby. Like, y'all keep worrying about baby. Leave baby alone. Okay, baby is fine. Okay, I've been eating what I'm supposed to eat. And baby is good, you know. But they just kept wanting to and pushing and pushing. I said, the lady come in there and she said, well, if you take that off, then your baby could die. I said, you know what? I need you to leave now. I need you to leave out of my room. I said, if you speak one more curse in here, you can walk right out the door that you came in. You know, sometimes that's how you have to get with them because they'll push and push and push like the shots. I don't do the vaccinations. And they kept to me, well, if you don't give your baby this, your baby could die. I said, no, you could die if you don't leave. You better leave out of this room speaking curses. Don't you speak no curses up in here. You know, words are spells. Don't watch your mouth around me. I don't.
Yeah.
Don't play that, dude. But
Absolutely.
I don't touch everybody, and I don't allow everybody to speak into my life. You, you got to be careful because they'll try and push and push and push, and I'm like, no, I'm going home. Okay, fine, I'll refuse it. I'm going home, and I went home. I ate some watermelon, and everything just started working. Right, I'm like, crazy talk about my baby. I deliver my baby fine. She's healthy, breastfeeding. We good.
That's
Well, you
right.
see, that's how you prevent high mortality rates. You take charge of your
Yes.
body and your own situation.
That.
These well, the statistics are like they are because women are not doing what you just did. You
Mhm.
don't go on a hospital that you're paying for, your insurance is paying
I'm
for,
not
and let
even
them
paying
do
for it. The
anything.
government is paying for it, but it's my body.
Right, right. And Terrell Boykin says they always try to scare you into submission. Absolutely. That's how the pharmaceutical industry makes so much money. They use the agents in the hospitals and medical system to scare you. And then they're gonna make lots of money off your fear that you they keep promoting. So yeah, it's a racket for sure. Okay, let
I
me
mean, we
see.
have to think a little bit about the placebo effect. There are
Yeah.
people that have been given a drug that did have the active ingredient, and some people that were just given sugar pills that showed the same improvement that people that took the drug. So we have to remember it's mind over matter. It all begins with the thoughts. And when you have the proper thought, then you'll start thinking about the proper things your body needs to be maintained properly to heal itself. So that's what happens with that placebo effect. People think they're doing something for their body already, so they start making active changes in order for those changes to actually come into effect. That's the way the mind works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you going to breastfeed again?
Not on, probably not on camera. If she
We're
hungry,
all fascinated, like,
The
no.
baby's here. The baby's here. For those of you in the studio, we're looking at mommy and baby together. And baby's happy, obviously.
Yes,
Baby's
and
getting what baby needs, which is mommy's milk.
right. And then
How
mommy's
did,
gonna start pulling and scratching me like, hey.
of
I
course, of
can't wait
course.
to see her. I'm
And
on my way down there.
and okay, so you're in Pleasant Gardens, North Carolina. I just realized when I went to Virginia, I flew into Durham, I think Durham, North Carolina airport,
RDU. Okay, yep.
and then drove to Virginia. So you're not far from the
Not at
land.
all. I am a simple hour drive from the land in Alton. I'm
Okay.
here as a demonstration model, and we're looking to get our new model to come in here, our brand new governor to come in and start staying so that we can do some more building out in Alton. So we are a true eco village, tiny house eco village at that. This is a 24 diameter foot dome. It does have a higher 14-foot ceiling because we can put a loft in here, but the square footage basically is about 456 square feet. And then we have our camper and also another tiny house that our boys have, kind of like their little camp out area where they can have their privacy, what they want to watch on TV, their snacks, their little couch, for the youth. But it's their own space, their own room in a sense, to teach them their own responsibilities young, to get them to know that they have to clean up their own space and keep it organized, because I'm not going to do it anymore. So having their own space has been a big learning experience for them, and it's showing us how we can really truly make more tiny house villages just like this, with the duplicatable model, with a central location and us supporting each other as a community. It's the way of our future, it's the way of our past. So we have to live this way now again in order for us to truly thrive and for us to make massive changes that we truly need to make as a community.
I have to ask you, I'm thinking about a brother, Prince Israelite is his name, and he's building a community in Georgia similar to that. And do you have polygamous families in your community?
Right now, we don't, but we are not 100% opposed to that either. I took a Shahada in 2001 in Islam. I know there's many walks of life that accept it, so we're not opposed to it, but right now we don't have any families that are. And it's
Okay.
not based on polygamy. I know some people have their communities based on that to make it easier for them, but we try our best to have, the one relationship, one man, one woman type relationships. But in families that are blended and that need different dynamics, it's not for us to judge that, but it's not what we're promoting or our prime objective.
Right. Kwame, your mic is open. So if you want to if you have a comment, go ahead.
Yes, and I'm grateful to hear that the land is being created into an oasis. An oasis on the Overground Railroad, it stands for our ancestor spirit in service, because on that land is our ancestor spirit, and it's being in service to us because we've come back and become stewards of the land. Nate, there's a place in Tuskegee, Nature's Victory Garden, and she's also has 47 acres. And what they've done is they've taken 15 and they've built A-frame houses, what they're going to use as bed and breakfast. And they're also building. There's a brother there teaching container building, that they're getting containers and they're putting containers on the land and being able to put them around the lake there. And so there's another place in Brandywine, Maryland, and she's take the pole barn and made a school of it, and also has been able to open up an herbal shop. So what we're seeing is that we're creating these oases within these food deserts, these deserts of urban area, because urban only means you being banned from nature. And what we're doing is we're creating spaces where everybody's not going to come to live in nature. The thing is that we have to have places in which we can come and get off do the electromagnetic hygiene, cleansing, grounding, and reconnecting people back to their source. of energy and help them to detoxify if they have to go back into those environments, with being able to know that there are spaces in which they can cleanse their mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Ashe.
that. And I'll look at that. You sent what you sent me later. What about growing food on the land? How is that going, Earth Feather?
So right now at our demo model, we do have an example of how you can create your 3 acres. And if you go to our site, Facebook, Young Urban Farmers, you should see some of the photos. I'll make sure to go ahead and post some now. So if people want to, go back later after the call and take a look. But what we've done there is our garden manager has planted some lettuce, some tomatoes. We do have a perennial herb spiral with sage, lavender, and oregano that grows on its own. Every year it gets more prolific because it's perennial, and we have it in a spiral type energy. The sun, it gives the perfect amount of light, the way that everything is designed. So that model is what you can do in Alton. We haven't actually planted there because we're not there on a 24/7 basis to care for it, but naturally the fennel, the blackberries, the lamb's wool. I mean, nature is growing it. We truly don't have much to do when nature does the work. And I feel like more so people that get spoiled with, oh well, I need this mango or this pineapple or whatever genetically modified things that they might need, those cotton candy grapes. We've gotten
Yeah,
so spoiled that we don't realize, hey, polk salad, people used to eat that. Like it was a huge part of people's diets. Now people want to call dandelions, they used to call them dandelions, weeds. You find it in Whole Foods Market for $4 a bunch.
I
So we
know.
have to
Crazy.
reevaluate truly what is food. Like you said, if it comes in its own package, not in the package in the stores with the red 40 and all of the different dyes and things to produce what they're making, but nature provides the food. And if we were to stop flushing our waste into the water, we would start regenerating food from the things that we eat, and the seeds that we eat would go back into the soil and give us more food. So as a family, our sustainable nature of using, because we're plant-based, we're not eating heavy meats and toxic foods and things. So the majority of our foods are raw or plant-based foods. When we put them into our compost area, they make my roses more beautiful. They make everything just more beautiful. The flowers bloom brighter. And there's a way for you to regenerate yourself and become something new again. We don't have to just be consuming everything and eating 24/7. That's why a lot of us are overweight, because we feel, oh, you need this breakfast, lunch, dinner, square meal, calories to that. No, that's not the way we did things. When we were out in nature, there were low hanging fruits and nuts and different grains. And if we had to reach for it, that was your exercise, because you had to bend for it. We didn't have to go to the gym and get on the cycle because we had to walk. We had to go different places to get our water. We had to haul the water from the river or whatever it may have been. Now we've been, like I said, we've gotten spoiled with so many things, and we've gotten this McDonaldization of mindsets, especially my generation, thinking that everything is supposed to be instantaneous. If it's slow food, it should be no food. Slow food or no food. We need to make sure we're taking that time, the natural time that it takes to grow something, instead of trying to speed it up, genetically modify it.
I was watching a documentary on Netflix. Was it Netflix or YouTube? About Indian culture and the food. This guy was going all over India, sampling the food in India. Lots of dead animals, unfortunately, but there was also a lot of seasoning. And there's a young woman who was in the room with them at one visit, and she was like a millennial. She said, well, we don't like this kind of food. We'd rather have McDonald's or processed foods. And that's the reality even in India. Oh my goodness. They're getting to the young people, the younger generation, even in other countries. So you're so right about getting back to natural food, real food, and away from all this process. it's a problem because we're addicted to it. Not we, but most people are addicted to it. And I want to say Francis is on YouTube. So let me give this out, take this opportunity. Be sure and like and subscribe. Hit the like button, and the Francis and anybody else on YouTube, because I don't usually see comments from YouTube. So Francis, you're my first comment from YouTube, and be sure and like and subscribe. And this is Beth. I think we're trying to get a hold of Beth because we got business to do with Beth. Beth, we're going to come down and see you maybe this week because there's a vehicle, right, that you're
Oh,
looking.
yes. Okay,
So
good.
we want to talk to Beth maybe after the show. Or did you leave a message with her? Somebody left a message with her.
I did. Yes, I left a message with her, so hopefully she'll be able to call me back after the show and we can chit chat.
Yeah, so important that we get this thing moving, because what you are doing there is just so important, so revolutionary. It's time, it's past time for us to develop this type of land. I remember walking, by the way, on that land, and we were picking berries as we walked. That was our food while we were on our hike. We were
That's right.
picking fresh berries, the most delicious food in the world. There's nothing like picking fresh fruit off a vine and eating it right then and there.
It is the best.
So, Kwame,
Yeah.
did you have a comment?
Yes, I wanted to ask one further. I think I have it right. And what is happening on indigenous universities and reservations? And the grandmothers came in from Canada and the Dakotas, and what they're doing now is teaching foraging. The grandmothers are taking the young women and the young boys, teaching them how to forage. And what they're doing is their culinary chefs have taken and created indigenous Native American foods. And what they're doing, and also being able to look at food as medicine. And the part is that you speak about the pharmacy, but what they're doing is that in the forest is the farm that you see is the medicine. And being able to have that which you were speaking about, the plants growing on the land, there needs to be, what they're now seeing is that food sovereignty, and being able to teach our people how to go and to identify the different plants, because all of the plants are our relatives. And we had there at the gathering, we gathered acorns, and they turned, and the women pounded the acorns, and they made flour. They washed it and made the flour. And when they made the flour, they fed us the pancakes and the bread that was made from those acorns. Very good. But the thing that the message was that she gave us, as the grandmother said, you're now just eating this acorn, which grows into an oak tree. So you now have the strength of that oak tree growing in you.
Ashe.
Yes, and I think with my YouTube channel, I really am going to focus on more lessons like this, Brother Kwame. Even though I have Friday morning health and well-being, it's such an important message to help people heal their addictions to this processed food. It's really ridiculous. I had an incident with my grandson. His dad had given him some Doritos. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to go into too much of that, but he loves Doritos, and there's all kinds of teachings about the addiction of Doritos. And I look, and my grandson had a blowout, had an upset situation. He just got really panicky, anxiety. He was trying to escape from this house. He was trying to get over the fence after the Doritos. And I'm like, okay, I think it's something in the Doritos. And I looked at the ingredients, which was about this long. And one of the things that Dr. Sunil Dahan, who I play on Friday, what he mentions is the dyes, the colors in the food. If you're not paying attention to the yellow dye number 40, blue dye, whatever, that is what is irritating the nervous system of not just children, but I'm starting to see even adults who are eating like that. They have a problem with
Yes.
paying attention, with focusing. They have a problem with communicating, even with having a conversation. There's all kinds of things I'm noticing about people who are eating these Doritos and food, like chemicals, basically. So we want to make sure that, as my YouTube channel, I've got to spend more time putting this teaching out there about the food, the ingredients, the chemicals in the food. Go ahead, Earth. You wanted to say
Oh
something.
yeah, I wanted to say what Kwame was talking about with the acorns, because one of the things that I'll do on our property is, instead of just cutting something down, we like to identify what we have. So we have done some advancement in plant ID on the land out in the Art and Life Foundation with some students from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University that came out. They're a part of our programs as well. They're called Afro Agriculture, and they work out of Georgia and in Greensboro at a number of different churches and organizations teaching youth how to garden. So they're two of my apprentice students that took classes with me. Now they go out and teach the community and grow food with these children. But like he said, it's so important to know the indigenous foods that we have, because a lot of people think that they're just weeds, and these are things that we can actually eat. There's a black forager. If people can look up the black forager, she always has something new that she's foraged. And she did an episode on polk salad. So that's why I no longer cut it. When I see it growing, I let it grow. And all the little berries that come off of it, you're not supposed to eat certain parts of the plant. And you have to, it's like a whole thing you have to do so that you don't die eating this stuff. But it's good for you. So he's right. We have to start vegecating ourselves. I like to use that word, vegetation, because
Yeah,
if you know how to go out there in the woods and get you some of those wild strawberries and some of that sweet grass and some of, whatever, those dandelion greens, you can survive out there in the woods.
absolutely. That's what it's all about, because there's the shit is going to hit the fan pretty soon. They keep telling us, they keep warning us, and that's what preparation for that is, to know what you can eat out in the wild.
And learning how to fast. Because if you don't know how to fast and you're so used to always having food in your system, and then you have to go for 24 hours without food, you're going to be in big trouble. So it's important that we practice now. And I remember Art used to fast at least once a week. He would fast, and practicing. And every month, every year, in Islam, people fast for an entire month of Ramadan. They eat when the sun goes down. And if we start training our bodies now to be more resilient and stronger, then we'll be healthier people when it hits the fan. Not if, but when.
Now, can I ask, what happened to Art? What do you think was the cause
I'm
of
glad you asked. So
transition?
that's what brought him into the holistic lifestyle. He had prostate issues, and he kept that a big secret from me. I honestly did not know the extent of his issues. I was, sort of, I'm his daughter in that sense, his goddaughter, where he didn't want to tell me if something was wrong. I'd be like the last person to honestly know, because he knew how bad it would hurt me. So he really hid a lot of his issues, but I was able to identify it once we moved in. I would notice things. I'd be like, Art, what's this? What's that? And then when he started getting more shakier and shakier and shakier, I started asking him more detailed questions. And that's how I found out about some of his issues. And he was the type that he would never really ask for help. And he asked me to come into his room to do something Reiki on his foot. His foot was swollen, swollen, swollen. He wasn't able to expel his urine anymore. The prostate was not working properly. His wife came back. So when she was there, she was probably there for a good 6 months before he transitioned. And she said that he transitioned his sleep. I was not physically there when he passed away. She had moved back in, and I was given some advice, let the married couple kind of, rekindle energy, be alone. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I wasn't physically there to see his decline, but from what people were telling me, just physically, he started just getting weaker and weaker. But he died in his sleep, she said.
So I feel like now it's coming together, because I am a EFT practitioner, and that my training for that started with my sister and her breast cancer. and recognizing the emotional connection to her disease. And that's where a lot of your professionals like Art don't deal with the the emotions, and especially the relationship challenges. Prostate cancer or prostate issues are about relationship conflicts with women mostly, or even with men who are, if you're in a relationship with men who are challenging your masculinity, say your authority. And I know that Art had a history of some business conflict that he was in with his brother or someone. And that could have, that probably deeply affected him in a way, like you said, he didn't want to talk about the way he didn't want to talk about it to a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead, Kwame.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Art was dealing with trauma that came from him when he was sitting at the Woolworth lunch counters in protest.
Yes, absolutely.
He would share with us. As men, we talked about that and the things that we did in the '60s and the movement. Art was one of the men in North Carolina that sat at Woolworth at the lunch counter.
Yes.
And that attack on him there during that time traumatized him very deeply.
And that's where that may be the root cause. Just like for me, I discovered my parents' divorce created in me a lot of anger and unforgiveness toward my dad, even though I never expressed that toward my dad. But recently, when someone did Reiki on me, it's a type of Reiki healing on me, and he told me that my anger was rooted in my parents' divorce when I was 8 years old. So what happened to Art and a lot of Black men, we've got a caller on the Female Solution who calls in. He's had prostate issues for years, and his trauma was with the back in the civil rights, or back in the time when, what's the young man's name back in the 50s, who they had the open casket in Chicago. I can't even think of his name right
Emmett
now.
Till.
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till.
A lot of men, I believe, a lot of especially Black men were traumatized by that situation, that funeral, the death, all of that. And I think that's where our caller that calls in on Female Solution with prostate issues, that traumatized him. And so they get triggered over and over again with situations like that challenge their masculinity. And all of that was about challenging them. Yes, go ahead.
I apologize for interrupting. Thank you, Brother Kwame, for the information. And Art heard you. Thank you for sharing that, because many people, not only you, Dr. V, me, I wondered. So thank us, and thank you, Brother Kwame. Thank us for that sweat that you did that on the land. Art's communicating with me, y'all. I'm not joking. And we need to do another show on this. Brother Kwame, sisters, we need to do another show about all of this. Thank us.
And I'm what I'm grateful for tonight mostly is that it's helping me to overstand my assignment in all of this. In the beginning, I was like questioning, why did I have to go to that land? Why am I in this position? Why is it 9 years? And I realized my experience with learning about the emotional connection and the childhood traumas. We have to teach that as you said, Earth Feather. We have to teach that as part of our collective Healing Springs Pharmacy. It's so important that we don't just focus on the herbs and the plants and the food. We have to teach about the energy in motion, which are the feelings that people stuff, like Art. Art is the teacher for us that is helping us remember. Hi, is this
That is my husband, Eagle Eye. He was very close to Art as well. And he's taken over a lot of the chief work So I just want to make sure he said hello to everybody.
Oh, thank you, Eagle Eye.
That's wonderful out there.
Yes.
Y'all good?
Yes, we're all good. Thank you. We hope you stay in the
It's a
on
blessing.
the yes.
Meet y'all. Y'all have a blessed one, okay?
All right, you too.
I get back to work.
He stays
So
working.
that's our assignment moving forward is to be holistically minded in your Healing Springs Pharmacy to make sure we pay attention to the emotional connections to disease. And Art is the teacher tonight.
90 seconds.
But also what Art was able to do too is that land was passed down through the family from slavery. And the atrocities that went on that land and the atonement that he went about in bringing that land and making atonement for those ancestors that gave their lives in that land, on that land. And he has, what was it, 200 acres?
Yes, 220.
This is passed down
60 seconds
on that land. And you know, there are spirits that are still there, and we have to atone that land. And then once we atone with the land, and our ancestor spirit will be in service, and we now can go from that because they gave their life in order for that land to exist, to be passed back to us to live on this.
That's right. Ashe. They preserved it for us. And my husband, he's the seer. I'm the hearer. I can hear them. But he saw those spirits. He saw someone on the porch of the cabin. He saw spirits on the sides of the vehicles because we've slept out there. We've been on that property. I mean, it gets pitch black out there. You can't see anything in front of you, but he saw with his own eyes. And when you have that next show, hopefully you can invite Eagle Eye to be a guest, because I'm telling you, he's a wise man. He spent a lot of time with Art. I thought they were working on the building some days. I'd look back like, you guys didn't get any work done because they were talking, you know. So he got a lot of good lessons that I did not receive from Art, because when men talk, it's a little different. When I spoke with Art, it was more of me asking questions and then him giving answers, while him and my husband would just listen and he would just give him things. So I'm learning to listen more.
Well, I would love to have him come back next Sunday and talk exactly about that. The process of clearing that land and how what that involved. Yeah, maybe let's talk about doing that next Sunday, part 2.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
so important. I'm just waking up to the fact that why this is all coming together.
And that was
This one day,
what Mama AZ asked me to come there to build a sweat lodge. Before I could do, I had to ask permission of those spirits that are still there on the land, and ask them to show me where it is that I could put this sacred.
Oh yeah, they will tell you. They will tell you, and you can see
when we go on to new land, because those spirits are still there. Their energy is there.
So, Earth Feather, what were you saying? They will tell you.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting. Yes, they will tell you where to place things. They'll talk to you, especially if you have an ancestral connection to that property. If any of your ancestors walked through there or were through there, you'll be more in tune with the energies. Because when I'm here on my land here in Greensboro, that was all my ancestors lived. They tell me where to put things, where to place things, where things used to be. I get different visions. And when I'm on Art's land, the same thing happens, but I hear it. They talk to me and they say things, or they'll move things, like different things that'll move a certain way. You know that it has to be something supernatural. That's how I know. And then I just listen to it. I don't try to put my own 2 cents into it. I just allow spirit to guide me. And for the first time in my life, I cleared a river. It was about 4 of us went for a visit, and I was able to lead people. I didn't have any shoes on, and I walked that whole river, and we were picking up big logs and taking them out of the water. And again, I've never done that before, but something innately within me showed me what to do, how to do it without getting hurt. Big old trees. So I know that it's something, a higher power that leads me when I'm there. And we all have a connection to this earth and our roots. And all of our ancestors at one point in time, especially if you were in part of the Underground Railroad, most likely traveled through this area because we're right on the border of North Carolina and Virginia. So there's no coincidence, and I'm grateful that our ancestors are awakening us to unite. And I'm want to welcome whoever wants to come to volunteer. First and foremost, we always welcome volunteers, and but most importantly, we want residents. We want you to come and join because our voices matter. The more of us that are there, the better and easier it is for us to access what it is that we are entitled to. And we need to build community. We have to elect our own mayors, our own governors, our own council people to direct the dollars that are already there for allocated for our towns and cities. It's an unincorporated town right now. So we have the upper edge and the upper hand where with the quantity, the number of people that come in and register and become residents and voters in that community there at Reflective Getaways Body Ecology, Moms of the Earth, we welcome you. We welcome you.
Right. And I'm thinking maybe I need to invest in that land myself. So go ahead, Brother Kwame.
Yes.
No, and what she's saying is excellent because the indigenous people there, and we shared this because we were both stewards of this land. And I think is your nation that was on that land Yamasee or
the Blackfoot tribe. I'm Blackfoot and Cherokee. So the Trail of Tears, you know, the procession of the Trail of Tears. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'm asking is there? It's like, okay, I'm Shawnee, but I live on Muskogee Creek land. Well, we have to acknowledge that we're on stolen land from that nation that was taken from by that nation that lived on that land before it was invaded. And these are the acknowledgments we have to begin to do to honor that. Yes, we are stewards, but we have to know that there were stewards before us, and we acknowledge them, that we've come back to take care of the property that you once stewarded.
Yeah, so no accident that Art Henson purchased this land, acquired this land, and now this new generation is carrying the torch forward. So I'm honored to be a part of that, and in the strangest way, but I'm just grateful that you are leading this journey, Earth. And Osaja Dua, where are you? Did you want to have a comment before we go?
I just want to say that I'm so happy to be here with you guys, and everything that Earth was saying about like the ancestors and reincarnation, like I just want to say that we're in the gathering. The gathering is taking place. It's prophesied that this day would come. And so right now it's time to get ready. If you ain't ready, you better get ready. I had to get that message to the people. If you ain't ready, get ready, because you don't have much time. It's not going to wait for you.
People get ready.
People get ready. There's a train coming. Thank you, ladies. We're going to talk this week. One of you is coming to my place. I think we talk. You?
That'll be me. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll be honored to have you.
Oh, thank you. And my husband is putting the tent because he's getting a hotel. I don't like being inside of boxes, and I'm like, I don't want to stay. I need to stay in my element. I'll come visit him. I told him we're gonna stay too far from where you are, but I need to make sure I still have my element of nature.
Yeah, you're welcome, sweetheart. Anytime. Just let's stay in touch, and we'll see each other. I'm sure we're all going to be together eventually. So thank you.
I love us.
Love you. Aho. And tomorrow morning, be sure and join the Female Solution. She's going to have a show, Are You Abused? Sister Fatima is joining Zelda tomorrow morning, Monday Morning Mindfulness, as she shares her experience of senior abuse. It's just everywhere. All the more reason that we need the Healing Springs Pharmacy.
Ashe, thank you so much.
And Zelda says, thanks, Baba Kwame Sunhorse. And yes, oh, thank you, Zelda. Just subscribe. So yeah, building my tiny house village so that we can share this knowledge on every platform as possible. And Francis, we're going to be in touch with you because we got to get that vehicle going. All right, everybody have a great week. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Mama AZ, are you trying to make a comment? Okay, I think we're done.
I was. Are you?
Go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. V. I just love y'all. My grandson just topped it off coming today, and then you put the icing and the strawberries on my cheesecake, y'all. Thank you. Thank us. And
yes.
I talked to the people there at cabin as well. You're correct. Peace. Oh.
All right, and Earth Feather sends lots of love and energy, love energy with her hands. She's sending some powerful Earth Reiki energy to you with her hands. All right, we're going to say goodbye to our global family now. So everybody have a beautiful evening and a good week. Stay and positive. See you tomorrow morning.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you.
Thank you.
To our family in China, Sheshe. India,
Zanyaba.
Japan,
Arigato.
Korea,
Kamsamida.
Russia,
Spasiba.
Germany,
Donke.
Poland,
Jonkinyong.
France, merci,
Merci beaucoup.
Spain, gracias,
Gracias.
Italy, grazie,
Grazie.
Egypt,
Shukran.
Ghana,
Medasi.
Nigeria,
Eshe.
South Africa,
Niabonga.
Senegal,
Get it.
Kenya,
Asante.
Israel, Toda,
Toda Rabba.
Pakistan,
Shukriyan.
Afghanistan,
Tashakur.
Saudi Arabia,
Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Assalamu
wa
alaikum.
barakatuh.
And to all my yogi friends out there, namaste and sat nam. Mwah. Love you. See you soon.